Should you be using product analytics or web analytics? What's the difference and why should you be using one or the other or both? I'm going to try and make a case today for why you should be using product analytics exclusively and why web analytics is not really relevant anymore, especially for the majority of brands that are operating today. We'll start off by showing you 3 examples of websites that are really common. Then we're going to run into how you're going to actually answer questions about framing your structures. And lastly, I'll give you a couple of real world examples that are based off of data that we have. And if you're new here, my name is JJ Reynolds, founder over at Vision Labs, where we help teams activate their data through both product, web analytics. So let's hop into it. The first thing I want to show you today is ChatGPT. Is this a product analytics question or a marketing analytics question? Web analytics. So you can see here, I went to Google and I Googled ChatGPT. So here we are looking at ChatGPT. Is this product analytics or is this web analytics? I'll make this even easier. I went to Google, I Googled ChatGPT, and here we have a giant URL string. I'm gonna hop on over to our friend URL parser, paste that in there, and here, let's see exactly what we are looking with. So we're using UTMs, good job for them. UTM source is Google, medium, paid search, so they're not using CPC, would recommend using CPC. Their campaign here, which is probably a combination of, based off of their name in the US in English, so ChatGPT, based off of their name. They also are using these custom ones. So they have IDs here, which are non-standard, right? These are all non-standard IDs. They have an error here. So like they used the keyword ID for Google. And then we have down here some more custom things, right? These could all be, we don't know what they are. Maybe ChatGPT decides NW is the name of the person who published it. We don't know. We then the Google Ads campaign ID, which they're using the wrong UTM parameter. There should be UTM_ID. Then they have the GBraid and the GCLID. These are all standard. So back to the question. Is this currently web analytics or product analytics? I am in their product. I can ask a question. It can say, hey, what is the probability of it raining tomorrow in San Francisco? All right, so now I just initiated a chat. Is that question product analytics or web analytics? This is where I think the case becomes easier and easier to make for why most things are product analytics. This is a PLG-led company, meaning their product is exposed partially to get marketing efforts. Let's talk through another example. Here is Vision Labs. This is our website right here. We don't really have a product. We do services, but the idea is true. Imagine if you were sales-led as an organization, you could come in here and hit contact. But we have a bunch of content around our site. Say you wanted to learn about PostHog. You can come over here, click on the PostHog. You are now learning about our services from the idea of saying, these guys know what they're talking about. We are building authority in the marketplace and with the goal of you hitting the contact button. Back to ChatGPT, the goal here is you hit sign up for free. They're going to delete your chat over time. One more example is Figma. Figma, also a PLG-led company. There's no will contact, I don't believe. Maybe there's enterprise where you have to contact sales, but everything else is more or less you can sign up on your own. So the problem here is that you are now exposed to the product. The product is now in front of your face. Our product at Vision Labs is the content. You need to trust us as an authority that we know what we're talking about. Here, you want to trust Figma that you will get the outcome that you want because they are PLG led. Hey, super quick interruption is if you would like us to implement your product analytics for you, go to visionlabs.com/contact. Thank you. Now let's take over Salesforce, the most enterprise of enterprisey style of things. How you even know something's really enterprise is they put a phone number on the website. You can hop over here. They don't even have a pricing page. You don't even know what the pricing would look like. You can hop into events and customers and everything else, but you don't know. So the question here is this their product, their information about their entire business, or is this just web analytics? And I would like to say that you should use this as product analytics because your content and your brand is your product, especially in 2026 and beyond. Okay, one more example here is going to be PostHog, the thing that is started it all. So PostHog right here, is this product or web analytics? I have watched their videos. They treat this like web analytics, like you're investigating the thing. I would argue that this is product analytics because their product is also here. And let me give you an example. I'm currently on their pricing page of PostHog, and we are like playing with pricing here, etc. I am actually logged in. You can see here at the top, it says dashboard. You can access this page yourself if you are not logged in. You just go to posthog.com/pricing. So I asked the question again, was this product analytics or web analytics? And let's dive into how that looks in the real world. So most websites and overall things are grouped in this kind of category. You have the home page, which is where things live. You usually have a pricing page or pricing module. You might have a blog with like updates. You might have some comparisons in there, those types of things. I think you can understand what that is. Then people like to segment off and say, hey, our app is different. I don't know why people do this. I don't know what the deal is. They say, hey, this is now product analytics once they're in the actual app. I would say that, hey, this is all should be treated the same, because you can actually take this and say we have app, you have usage, and let's just put feature usage here for the sake of simplicity. You can actually put your pricing down here inside of your app the way that PostHog did. The same thing that Figma did. You could also say, let's put in our blog here, and we're going to put that there. Maybe you make your homepage conditional based off of whether logged in and logged out. Well, now all of this is within your app. So the only thing that delineates the difference between product and web is whether someone is logged in or logged out. Now, here's the question, is that do you want to know where someone came from? Because that defines whether or not you're going to store that information about that session and ultimately that user. Let's go back to our good friends, ChatGPT. So here I came from a Google ad. I clicked on the ad, I went to this thing, I did a chat. If I went here and signed up, and I said, hey, give me a free account, should that free account know where I came from? Should that know exactly, hey, this person came from a Google ad? I think everybody in the right mind would say yes. So I'm creating a profile of a user the second someone comes to our site. Whether or not we know that they're going to be a future paying customer, we don't know at this moment in time. But if I did, you would want to know that information. So you are hence storing that profile for a user before they create an account. That is product analytics. Now let's hop back into PostHog. PostHog is a product analytics tool. Hopefully everyone understands what that is by now. So we are here inside of one of our accounts. We are inside of Vision Labs, our actual website data. And here you can see like, hey, over the last 30 days, we had 50 applications of people reaching out to us. You can see your sessions, etc. Nothing too groundbreaking. But I want to show you here what this looks like in real time as a real-time activity thing. So here you can see all of these events flowing in, and most of them are anonymous. You'll see that some of them, let's just see if I can find one, over not the past hour. Let's look over the last 24 hours, and let's see if we can identify. And I'm going to cheat and look for the identify call. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to show you what this looks like in real time. So let's get rid of the good old hedgehog AI. That thing is not as helpful as I'd like it to be. Let's just look at this. Someone viewed this page. They viewed the Academy, PostHog. If I open this up, I can now see all of these different things. They came in directly. They didn't really come in from anywhere that we know of. We can also look at, this is probably me. I'm in Reno. Let's find someone else. Let's find someone who is not myself. Here we go. So here's a person who went to the cohorts page of PostHog. So they hopped in. Here they came in direct also. So we don't know exactly the source they came from. They're in North America, the US. All these different types of things that they came in from. This is the page path of where they landed. You can see here all of these different things. So if we ever wanted to say, hey, let's create a cohort of these people that came in from our content about PostHog, well, we could see those down the line. So they entered in via this PostHog cohorts. They could have navigated around the site. But you need to store that as something that you are actually keeping about that person. Same thing when you hop over to person profiles and the set one. So if you hear the initial current URL, the first landing page they landed on was actually the resources page. But if I look at this actual event, you can see they're now on the cohorts. We are creating product analytics around our content. So in the future, I can ask the question to our team and say, hey, how well is our PostHog content doing? And then we can filter and slice and dice that however we want to. Do we want to say, hey, people who saw this PostHog content and then reached out to us? Or do we want to look at it, people based on the landing page? We now have that option because we've stored this information to be able to look at it, back at it when we get someone to fill out a contact form for Vision Labs. Now, if I was Figma, I would do the exact same thing. Okay, so Figma, they should be storing here, hey, you came in from a Google ad here. Great. You then created a chat, you viewed this content, you did this thing, you viewed the pricing page, and then you signed up, and then your journey continues. It doesn't start at sign up, it continues from sign up. And that is what product analytics is. What you are using, what you are doing, and how is that correlated with the outcome that you would like? And I would like to propose that you should view the entire experience as product analytics, not just the start of someone signing up. I hope this was helpful, a little thought experiment here, hopefully a little show and tell. If you have any questions at all, do not hesitate to drop a comment down below. Ask away.